a place that many just assume is fraught with danger. Well, there are 8 million stories in the Naked City. I'm going to tell you one of them. I was on the A train one evening, on my way from my job in Lower Manhattan, where the World Trade Center was, to where I lived in the north of Manhattan, up by the Cloisters. The train was relatively empty, but when we stopped at 59th Street, it began to fill up. A trio got on and sat near me. They were 2 gentlemen and a lady. I knew they were together because they were having quite an animated discussion, or should I say, a heated argument. The lady appeared to be a lady of the night, or should I say, a prostitute or a sex worker. I inferred this in part from her almost stereotypical attire. She had on gold lame hot pants, fishnets, silver vinyl over-the-knee boots with platform heels, a sequined sparkly boob tube, and to top it off, a miniature purple satin hat pinned into her hair. The gentlemen appeared to be her business managers, or should I say pimps. It was not so much their attire that led me to this conclusion, although they were dressed head to toe in sort of garish polyester, but rather the conversation which revolved around money. Money which she had apparently earned, but they were in charge of, and which she wanted to spend on something in particular. As the subway doors closed and the train began its 7-minute express journey to 125th Street, her voice rang out. "I want my Jerry curls. You promised me Jerry curls." Now, some of you here may not be familiar with Black American hairstyles of the 1980s, so I'll explain to you that Jerry curls were a permed hairstyle that created a loosely curled afro. To get it involves getting several sets of chemicals applied to first relax the hair, then to perm it into softer curls, plus a lot of product to moisturize it and maintain it. So it was quite an expensive hairdo. The gentlemen were responding with rather dismissive comments, basically all along the lines of, "Oh, shut up." This did not help her mood. Finally, she gave her ultimatum. "It's my money anyway. I want Jerry curls and I want to get them this weekend. If you don't let me get them, I will cut you." And to demonstrate her capability to follow through, she pulled a knife from her bag. The passengers standing closest to Lady immediately seemed to sense danger, and they began to quickly move away as far from her as they could, as fast as they could. Now, they couldn't get off the train, but they could certainly move to the far ends of the cars and even between cars. And although they were right next to me, I did not immediately feel I was in danger. After all, I was not part of the Jerry curl conversation, had no sway over it. I certainly hoped they wouldn't ask my opinion on it. And so I pretended to be engrossed in the copy of the New York Daily News that I'd found on the seat when I boarded. And I didn't look up or make eye contact. The exodus of the other passengers from the immediate area increased in both numbers and speed when one of the gentlemen, in a pre-Crocodile Dundee movie line, said the equivalent of, "That's not a knife, this is a knife," and pulled out a much larger knife. He also made it clear in a pre-Dirty Harry movie line that it would make his day if she tried it. In fact, I sometimes wonder if, this being New York, one of the future scriptwriters for these movies was on board my train that evening and overheard this and saw this scenario. It did dawn on me now that I was in danger of collateral damage, at least, because if either of the knife holders lunged for the other, for example, I could be accidentally collaterally damaged. Nearly everyone in our section of the subway car was now gone. They had either moved to the far end, as I said, or to another car. Not that I was turning around to take stock, but there was nobody nearby. And however, I could all see that if I got up and tried to move, this would be fraught with danger. Because I was sitting here with the train window on my left, and one of the gentlemen was sitting immediately on my right next to me. The second gentleman, the one with the knife, was sitting on the seat perpendicular, so basically right in front of my knees. And the lady was just across the aisle from the gentleman next to me. Therefore, if I got up to move, I'd have to walk between the 2 knife holders. That seems dangerous. Yeah, no, I'll just keep reading the same article, actually the same paragraph, actually the same word, over and over and over, and hope we pull into 125th Street soon. So of course the train stopped between stations. as trains do sometimes, but why now of all times? The argument and the threats and the knife brandishing continued, but luckily didn't escalate into lunging or movement. And it went on after what seemed like an hour, but was probably maybe 4 or 5 minutes, the train finally began to move again. I decided that if the three did not appear to be preparing to get off at 125th Street, I would, even though it wasn't my stop. And as the train began to slow down for the approach into the station, several things happened. One, the trio looked up, realized that we were pulling into 125th Street, stopped yelling at each other. The two with the knives put them away, probably anticipating that the doors were going to open and people would be boarding. But they did not make any move to indicate they were going to be getting off. So I did, saying, "Oh, excuse me," quite politely as though nothing had happened, and walking between them and over to the door. And the doors did not open. Oh, test me, Lord, what now? After what felt like another hour, but was only, again, 4 minutes or so, about 5 or 6 police walked into our car from another car. They went directly to the trio and said they needed to ask them a few questions. Happily, one of the police also said something into his radio, and in seconds, the train doors opened and out I went onto the platform. Now, I'm not sure what happened after that with the trio and the police, because another train which I could take home arrived, and I quickly got on it and went home. So, this is the way this story of danger ends, not with a bang, but a whimper. And boy, was I glad for that.